I'm here working on my prototype. I was able to get from the store these neat wooden shafts. I found this long squeegee that has the shape of a paddle wheel that I was gonna try to make. So all I did was cut it to the size of the barrel here. So when we put it here and we put the shaft through this hole, it should spin and carry food down into I think a 2-inch hole that I'm gonna drill here at the bottom. So once it's all put together, I'll put a video. And basically what I'm trying to prototype is with this material, how much food can I fill to the top before this basically stops picking up food and sending it down to the bottom. So this is round 2 of my prototype. I had to super glue the sponge to the wooden shaft because when I was adding a whole lot of weight on top, the shaft would spin independently of the wheel, of the paddle wheel, of the spongy paddle wheel, and that wasn't working. So I super glued it overnight, and last night I was using honestly this plastic cardboard to try to simulate this sort of down cone shape under the paddle wheel, but that wouldn't work very well either. So I just took an old Rubbermaid container and I cut it in half and added it to the bottom of the container just to add that sort of incline. I also had to re-drill some holes because the paddle wheel was touching the bottom of the container, and it was making it really hard to turn. But honestly, now what's going to be phase 3 is the wheel gets stuck, especially because this hole is too small. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. Dog food gets stuck under, so the dog food that it goes through the hole drops down, but then the paddle wheel needs to kick up food that's under it that hasn't dropped, and that's causing some friction. So I'm gonna just make this hole almost the same shape as the paddle wheel, and that should give us the wheel of freedom that we need, and then that should let me fill this up basically as high as I can and still process food. So see you in phase 3. So this is phase 3 of using this foam roller as a paddle wheel. Basically I made the hole a lot bigger, and I learned that actually this paddle wheel should be sticking out a little bit farther because it keeps a seal between the hole and the paddle wheel. So when I drop some food in, it does a little bit of it spills out. But again, this is the prototype, so definitely some learning lessons for the next one. So far these Rubbermaid plastics have been doing really good with holding food in, and I just want to show you it working. So here I'll turn this wheel and you'll end up seeing more and more food drop through. I have a bunch of food here for my dog, and so basically, let's see here. You can see that we have a little bit of motion on the wheel from the top, and that's a little bit of leakage that we'll have to solve in the final build. And as I turn this wheel, you'll see more and more food come out. I definitely need to add a handle here for more leverage, but as I turn more and more, basically we get to a point where we're full to the top and less food here. So basically that's it for the prototype. Actually, the foam seems to be doing really good. I was able to fill the bucket up to about this line here and have it all drain out. The only thing is that because the hole on the bottom is so big and there's so little bit of space stopping, I was wondering if that was helping it, you know, with the wheel turning, because for the final build I definitely want the foam wheel sticking out of the bottom at least a bit. I did start on what I think the final build will use. And there's this wooden wheel that I had put together. Unfortunately, it is glue and not screws as recommended, but I think this one might be a bit more promising. You can hear it touching the bottom. And there's definitely less clearance here to protect food from just spilling out. So basically that's it for the prototype. I think this one will do well in the future.